Hello, hello. Long time no speak or seen. I apologize already for my throat. I got like some kind of cold like this weekend, but yeah, I'm even if I got like a sore throat, I'm perfectly fine. So I'm quite glad to be here tonight with you guys. Uh, Let me just before I start ahead and start chatting, I just want to be sure because you know lucky for me, I had the chance to change my PC, and now that I changed my PC, basically all my setup for streaming is actually different. So that's why. But I just want to put in like the restream chat first, and we'll be able like to chat a little bit. I just want to be sure in the meantime that Facebook and YouTube are working just fine just before we start. So bear with me. I hope you guys feels awesome and that you did a lot of sculpting while I was gone. Um, I'm just gonna explain why I was away. And I got such a okay browser, I think. Okay, so I wonder if this works. Oh yeah, I think so. So where should I put the chat? I'm just gonna type in something in the chat, or if somebody would want like to type something in the chat, just to be sure we it works. Hey guys, I actually saw you like in my restream chat, but I just want to be sure like that everybody can see your comments and questions. So okay, awesome. This seems to work just fine. So you guys saw that, right? Oh. I'm getting confused. I got right now. I got like three monitors, and I'm getting confused with which one I'm clicking in it. But yeah, I'm just gonna put this here. Fully, it's not too small. Let me know if you feel that it's like too small and you can barely read it. But yeah, so short story. Uh, Basically, yeah, like I just felt like the last time I streamed with the Pixologic stream, like my PC was like hurting really bad, and yeah, basically everything was like crashing down. I could barely like hold up to the stream and all that stuff. So after that, I like tried to work really hard, like just to find parts and build a machine, which I did. And okay, you think it's too far? Is it better now or is it? Wait, I'm just gonna try if I can find like something to amplify it. Um, Input,
and we'll see soon enough.
if so. Is this better or it's just me? Yeah, I don't speak like loud enough. I'm guessing. Let me check if I can just boost like the settings for this. And mic. Okay, I'm gonna put like 150. If it's too loud, then let me know. We're gonna try this out. Hello, and 200 then. Sorry guys, it's uh, it's not it's not ready yet, but we'll manage. Is this better, guys, or do you see a difference or? Oh well, I think we'll go for this, and I don't want to like spending all the stream time to fix this, but hopefully it will be good enough for the stream. I see like right now my bar is like in the green, so I'm assuming it's working. So um, yeah, and I'm just like you say, I think I'm gonna put the mic closer to my face. As long as I can keep my cup, getting in, I think that's the most important part. Mm. Yeah, but it's barely. I'm sure it's like because of my sore throat that I can like barely speak up. So yeah, so short story. For the thing like basically yeah it was just like unbearable like to work with, so yeah I built up like a new PC, and then in the meantime like a lot of things happened like contracts, and even at work like we started to be pretty busy, so yeah I wanted to get back definitely at you guys because I felt it was like kind of unfair like just to stop streaming and like give like no news. I really wanted to get back, but yeah, I needed like to figure this thing out. So once I rebuilt like my machine, now it's the first time that I actually stream with it. It's I went with the Threadripper, and by the way, just in case, because in the future I like to do probably a YouTube video on my PC basically because the PC that I built it was specifically for ZBrush, and I wanted like something really strong because even at work like I'm kind of brutal with the whole ZBrush thing, and yeah, oftentimes I just like completely destroy it. I mean, like just like render times and stuff like that, even the process, and I feel like it's like always like kind of slowing my flow of things. So I just wanted to have like something really strong, but that's the thing. Like I did it like in three phases, but this is only phase one. But if you guys want to take a look, that's my website, by the way, that I just posted in the chat. But like my latest blog post, it's called I call my PC Wasteland because I'm a huge Mad Max fan, and I cannot wait to get like the new, well, the the I guess like it's the fifth Mad Max that it's supposed to come out after Fury Road, which is taking forever because of I think lawsuits and stuff like that. But it was like supposed to be called Wasteland, and yeah, just that's why I called it like Wasteland, even if it looked more like cyberpunk than anything. So, but yeah, if you guys want to check like the parts and stuff like that to get inspired and know, because basically the main thing is if you want like a have like a really strong ZBrush performance is really you need to go really more towards number of cores and RAM. So basically, if you can just like because video card, it's not like a GPU based kind of software, so this won't like change a lot. But at the same time, I'm not just using ZBrush; I'm using other things. But that's why right now, like my video card is like still pretty shitty. But yeah, it should work. But now, yeah, it's one of the cool thing is since now I got the new machine and all, like I can bring back this model which I started like in the first streams, which I could never finish because it was like way too heavy. And now that we got finally the folders, you know, because this is I don't know if we can see the count of subtools. I can't remember, but yeah, it's over like 100 subtools. So I was just like, and right now you see like I started to do like some sorting in there, but there's still like a lot to be done. But yeah, it's that's pretty much it. So and yeah, in the meantime, I had like even like a hard drive issue, which I lost some of my files. So even like for my previous models and also which was kind of sad, but yeah, I could at least like get a hold back of this model. But like the previous model that you saw in the previous streams, they're all supposed to be there. So, but yeah, in the recent days, I've been like sculpting a little bit like outside of the stream, and it was mainly focusing on the shoe, which I had like a whole lot of fun. I was like kind of and that's one of the things like this sculpting that I'm doing like offline, off work and just as a personal project. It's really more like a way to push myself even further and see like how much design can I go forward, um, without worrying about time and stuff like that. I just wanted like to be. I just wanted to show you like it's missing like some of the parts, but basically, yeah, I wanted like to look. I know that like right now it's E3, and then we just saw like a cyberpunk. you know, announcement and all with Kenny Reeve, which I think it's pretty awesome. But yeah, definitely my model is like borderline. You know, I guess it's like a crossover between Metal Gear and Cyberpunk. So, and one of the things I wanted to bring back for this was those kind of Air Jordan. You know, like high. I don't know how to call that, but like a high ankle. Wait, I'm just gonna find like an image just to be sure you guys follow me. But basically, it was always they had always like this kind of a lip in the front or tongue in the front that was like super thick and padded, which yeah, yeah, I might not find like what I'm talking about, but I just felt that would it's a little bit like that because you see it's all padded, and I just felt like it would feel more kind of comfy, or it's just like a wearable, like something that even if it's technologically advanced for performance and stuff like that, you would still have like comfort into it and a little bit of style. And one of the thing I like to mix is sorry guys, it's um the different fabric or materials. So right now I started like to work like this could be like some kind of nylon, and one of the thing I wanted to have like as well is like that kind of shape, like sticking out. Like I play a lot with silhouette, and yeah, it's kind of the stuff that since I'm working on it like bits by bits, I got like time to reflect on it. And seriously, I think that's one of the things that really helps when you design in 3D. Of course, you need like not to lose the flow of like your creative flow, but I still feel it's something that it's quite helpful to get back on it, like think of it, a little bit more. And sometimes you'll see in the meantime like reference or something like I don't know, like a pair of shoe, like at work or while you're going like commuting, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's how they build it. And because even like those two straps at first they were supposed to be metal straps, like kind of like metal leechers or something. And in the end, I think I'm gonna do like some kind of a nylon kind of plastic kind of straps, which might bear like a different color and probably like some military tactical writing on it. Same thing for the thing in the middle. Like this will be padded as well. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I'll stop my chatting a little bit. Well, about me, I'm just gonna check with you guys how you guys are doing. I'm quite glad that you guys are like so many. I wasn't expecting that because yeah, we kind of like announced it like I think I posted like the Pixologic guys like 2 weeks ago, and I kind of like announced it like on my Instagram like a few minutes ago. But yeah, I apologize at the same time. Like at the bottom, I'm supposed to have like this kind of a streaming bar, which I don't have right now because yeah, like I said, I my drive had all of that was just wiped out. So yeah, but yeah, if you wanna check out like my social media, feel free to do so. I know that it's not like super clear, but yeah, just gonna show you quickly. It's that basically all the anchor. It's Giroux sculpt. So yeah, if you guys wanna follow me, it might be easier than reaching me by stream. But yeah, I'm quite glad that you guys could make it. So I'm just gonna check quickly on the stream, on the chat. I mean, like just before I head off, and at the same time, I'm gonna put like a little bit of music for my headphones. I won't put it like in the stream just in case like you guys feel it like it's annoying. So, but if it's something that you guys would like to have like some kind of like a little bit of music in the background so you can shake your head, that's definitely something I can look into it. Um, okay, I got some echo. That's what Mike May is actually saying. Okay. Let me know what that's the thing because right now I didn't play with the settings with OBS at all. So maybe like some of the streaming thing is actually like breaking the whole audio capture. So uh, Hello everyone. Hello. Rain Gondo. Yeah, like I'm quite glad. Wow, that's another thing I'm gonna change. I know that you guys ate it. That old quick save that just kills everything. I'm just gonna put it like longer. But yeah, no, I'm quite glad. Up until now, it's to be honest with you, for what I'm making, I feel like I could use more RAM though. But no, it's right now I got like the 2050X model, which is I'm not sure the number of core. I think it's 16. But yeah, it's I didn't want to go like into the because they got like the 2970 and 299, and yeah, I just felt it was like way too much. It was too expensive, and when you get like a to those workstation, if you want to do something else like play games or whatever, I think it becomes a problem. Not that I really play any games on this PC, but who knows? Maybe I will eventually. So I just wanted to have like something more easy to deal with. So so like always, I'm I'm like I'm trying like to I got like one big mass which is my original mesh, which I'm gonna isolate right now, which is like this is like kind of my sketch, and then on top of that I will actually mask things, extract them, and then play with them. Um, for this stream, I think I'm gonna go like more traditional, like I used to in the other streams, which I will not bring stuff like to max, but sometimes in the future I will totally do it. That's how I work at work. At Ubisoft, it's basically when I got a really complex shape, I just like drag them over Ubisoft, not Ubisoft, but drag them over Max or Maya, depending. And wow, I don't know what happened. Just gonna undo this a few times. But yeah, all what the hell happened? Okay. But yeah, I'll do like a quick retopo. And one of the things that I want to try out on my pipeline, I will not try it tonight, but that's something I would like to bring into the streams. Are the how can we integrate Fusion 360 to our pipelines? Because I know that right now, like people who are using like Fusion, they say, oh no, it's super high res and you cannot like reuse really the mesh um, into the for I don't know, like if you want to rig it and all, like it's kind of a messy mesh. Visually it works, but I would be really curious to bring it to ZBrush and first like try like polygroups by face and do like a UV with that, and by face angle I mean. And the second thing is like with the new zero measure, I maybe we can get away with things. So I think that's something I like to try out for the future, or maybe some of you actually tried it out already. But I would like to definitely tackle that. So that's one of the plans. Hopefully before the end of the, well, probably on this mesh actually. Like maybe not on this shoe, but like eventually I got like so many hard surface bits that will probably be able like to sneak in some fusion. So outside of that, right now like my PC rig, um, and it's I'm in Canada, so like it's pretty much like in Canadian money, but it cost me like around 2K, and I reuse like one of my hard drives, and I reuse one of my video card, which was like a 750 Ti Nvidia, and this was like holding up like not too bad. So yeah, that's a few things I kind of did, but outside of that, that's pretty much it. I bought like you say, you can check on the parts list, but I bought like the CPU, the Threadripper, and then I bought like the Rate Ripper, which was like the cooling that goes on top. I've checked like water cooling and all, but and I wanted to go like a Intermax, and because like it was like a rectangular kind of plate that you could put like on top of the CPU, which they said like it was a lot more efficient. But then I started like to find like people who had like a lot of issues with like leak, and customer service was like a nightmare and stuff like that. And then I started to look at the specs, and to be honest with you, like even when you overclock it, I I felt like it wasn't that major between the two, because like the rate ripper was so massive that it's kind of doing it like pretty well. And and since I felt like Cooler Master actually did that specifically for the thread ripper, then it had like to be it had to be good. So yeah, I bought it, and I'm quite glad. Outside of that, like I bought like a 32, like two six, yeah, 16 gig of RAM, so like 32 gig of RAM overall, and I bought like a 4 terabyte hard drive, just like a regular one, just because I wanted like to start fresh, my Windows and all. Um, what else? I bought the case, which is a Cougar Panzer Evo. I went like RGB, yeah, RGB lighting, just because why not? I was just like I'll treat myself. And outside of that, what else did I do? Um, oh, and power supply. I went with like a 850 watt power supply for yeah, to as a power plant for the whole thing. And I went like a fully modular because I didn't want to have like all the wires. I try like to do some kind of like clean up wire management, but and I think it's decent. It kind of works. And since I got like the tinted windows, maybe maybe I'll try like to show you a little bit. I'm just gonna take my webcam. It's this thing. I don't know. Oh, that Christmas tree that it's like right now my kids have played like with the with the colors. I'm just gonna put that. Yeah, it's more like that. Uh, it's weird on the webcam. Like the color seems to be a lot more flat, but yeah, there's like a it's all tinted, so it doesn't look like that bad. So within, even if I did like a decent cable management, we don't see it that much. So well, what did I do? Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. The fans were like coming with the case, so that's good. And yeah, one of the things that I started to do, and to be honest with you, like I've been like playing with it like a whole lot more and more, even at work. It's that those menus. Oh boy, seriously, I don't know if you guys actually use any of those. Well, it's all custom menus, and I map them like to S and V because I can't remember what those two buttons were doing, but I wasn't like using them that much. And one of the thing that I talked to Paul Gaburi about it, and he told me that you could actually put it like sideways, but I never kind of found like a way to do it. But that's why I need like to scroll down, which is kind of annoying, and I need like to clean this up. But yeah, basically my two menus are like in there, and most of my the thing that I use are all in there. And to be honest with you, like at first when I was like starting with that, like it was like kind of awkward. Like I wasn't like a fan of it because like getting used to it. But now I've been like working with it like with like probably like 5 months. Oh boy, it's I couldn't live without it. It's so because now I know exactly where all my buttons are, and I just click on my keyboard super quickly, and I feel like seriously like the amount of time that you can gain from being efficient with this. But like I was saying, if I could have like a menu just like the Z modeler, like if I could get like a menu like that, more sideways, that would be even better. But yeah, I got yet like to figure this out or ask ZBrush if they can do something about it. But Yeah, it's something that you'll swear probably like a lot if you try it out at first. But let me tell you, I think that's a really good investment to do in your. And I think I saw that from Thomas Roussel, which was like doing something similar, like and yeah, it's I think that's great. So yeah, let me know in the chat if any of you actually are already doing that, or you even got like something cooler or different that you got. So just want to be sure I'm not missing out on the chat. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like the PC part, like just to get back what Galileo 86 said, like it didn't cost me like 3,467. That's for sure. I don't know where to get those numbers, but it's not it. How do you fix those dent in the mesh? Oh, jagged edge. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the thing. Like right now, like one of the thing. Well, there's like two things I like to do for this. Yeah, sorry. Like I've been doing this for quite some times in the chat, and not in the chat, but in the stream. But I forgot like to explain why what I'm doing. Right now, see like all the let's just like for the purpose of it, I'll just like bring them back. So see like let's just say you got like, all the jagged. One of the things that you can look into, and right now, once I said, I put it into my menu, but you can look into your deformation tab, and you got like polish by feature, by group, and crisp edge, and depending on your shape, you'll get like different result, but you try to get as close as possible to that. So one of the things that you better to do is like before a Z remesh, when my mesh was actually higher because it was an extract. So see, like now I could, and yeah, sometimes I'll play with the three of them and try to find like which one is the best. It's not like a always like flawless. Sometimes you get like something too round or something. So that's why with my move brush I'll bring some of the details back, or even like fix what's left to fix. And I like to I feel like tapping my the tip of my pen is actually a lot easier to slowly or gradually see the change. So I feel like it's always easier to control. So, and one of the things that sometimes annoys me is like, from front view, I mean top view like that, like it seems like to be smooth. When you look on the side, you see like that kind of like a bleeding or falling off. So that's why like sometimes I'll go with the H polish and just like flatten this out just to be sure I don't want to have like any side to this. I want it to be perfectly flat. So, and then after that, you can go half. Sometimes that's what I do. Like so I can see progressively what's happening and see now it's getting better and better. And like I was doing just earlier, like since I only did like a wait, sorry. So, like you saw, like I just did like an extract, like a masking and extract, and it's like sitting on top of each other. So I always feel like it's kind of hard to know really what you're looking at. So sometimes I'll just do like a move and just like push it out just a little bit. I still see like my shape underneath, so I know which corners are supposed to be sharp. And one of the thing I'll try to do in the low res, well, like this version, which is kind of low, is like it's all the corners, like the concave and convex corners. I'll try like to stick them out, just so we can see like a clear. So when zero measure or when I do my panel loop, it will be like a kind of like hard set angles already. So my poly loops will just like grab to that like a lot more easier. You'll know like exactly where it ends and when it starts. So basically, I want like a bevel on those corners. So I'll just like pull them out a little bit more. So something like that. One of the things that is cool as well when you're in this mode is like when you smooth, it doesn't pull your outside. See, like right now, like I can just like smooth the interior. It becomes like a lot more flat and even. I can even go with clay, and it's like it's that surface can become like super clean. Of course, if I go with the H polish, then it start moving the boundaries, but still, I think you can polish stuff like a lot more. Right now, like it, see, I had like a hard edge over there, and I don't mind if I don't have it right now. I'm just gonna, well, I'm gonna try trim the dynamic just in case I can bring it back. But if not, so I don't know if this answered your question, but yeah, that's one way to go. So right now, and what I like, especially with the new remesher, look at how clean the topology is. It's pretty much exactly where I want it to be. So then, once you're happy with it, let's just say like this is the shape we're going for. I'm just gonna do a quick last, and that's one of the thing. It helps when you play with like a. Right now, I didn't bring all my materials yet, but when you play with like instead of like sculpting with like a flat, that's one of the thing I don't really like because when I look at my shape, I feel like surfaces, especially for hard surface, it's harder like to know how much of the surface is deforming. But if I put like a stronger highlight onto it, then see like that speck, it's like rolling over my surface, so I know exactly. It's easier to see like when it's uneven. So so that's another small trick that you can do. So yeah, panel loops basically I'll put, and that's always like the same recipe for panel loops. For me, it's I put everything to 0 and minus elevation, and the only thing I play with is the thickness. So I'll do a panel loop. Does that make sense? I'll get back to my original mesh. No, not thick enough. So I'll a little bit of coffee just to be sure I'm not like coughing all the time. But yeah, I'll play with this slider. Oh, see, now we're starting to have something a lot more closer. And what I had like in the original one seems to be maybe not as thick, but I had like almost a tooth over here. So we'll deal with that in a second. So I like to push it out and have it like correct right away with this because it's really using the face normal to push the direction instead of doing what it's, well, I'm sure like with the Z monitor that would work out as well, but if I just do like a translate and I pull my stuff, then it won't, it will all face the same direction. For this, it's facing like a, see, like, I'm pretty sure you guys understand what I mean, but yeah. So for this, I don't want to pull all the corners in, so I'm just gonna manually pull whatever I need. Uh, since I already like my outside shape, my red shape, I'll do a mask only for this one. So I'm sure like the top part is not moving, it's only the bottom one. So, and then I can always do a small H polish just to be sure, even if it's a low res one. It just, yeah, it's nice art surface stuff is actually really smooth. So okay, so what's the next step? You're just like, yeah, but you know, I got this. It's getting good, but it's if I subdivide it, it will look like it will look pretty bad. You know, like it's that's not our surface. So what you'll do, and by the way, I apologize for all my friends out there that already know this trick. So I hope this is not like too much of a drag. So well, you know, we'll just consider it as a refresher. But I know Galo 86, man, you know this stuff for sure. So yeah, in the meantime, I'll since we're waiting for this, I'll ask you guys, where are you guys from? I'll start the thing. I'm like from Quebec City, and yeah, right now it's awesome because it's summer and we don't have like 9 foot of snow. So yeah, that's I couldn't be more happier. But yeah, let me know. Like I always love like to know where you guys are watching this from. So yeah, so to get back at what I was saying, I'll check back to the chat. So guys, feel free to like to write in it. I'll just like read it like in a few minutes. Um, basically, you say, okay, I want to have like a hard surface thing. So one of the tricks that I do is normals. I'll use the 25 and see, like right now. Oh, okay. This is like a kind of a bad ZBrush. See that triangle? It kind of ruined my special trick. But see, like most of them, they all got the right polygroups right on the right edge. So I'm just gonna try instead of like remeshing it and all. I'm just gonna try if I can go with 20 or 35. No, okay. I'll in that case, and that's one of the things that I love the most is you can easily delete it. Then you fix this thing. I'm just gonna and sometimes like if you really like the shape right now, it's not amazing, but I think it works for now. You can always like do the one of the trick that I do is I subdivide it. Right now I remove the smooth because like you see it's like melting the mesh, but still the geometry is still in there, and I can still like do it like a fourth time. So let's just say that's pretty much the shape that I want to keep, but I want to remesh it, and I'm afraid like this will destroy the shape. I will freeze it. Freeze it will just like remember all the subdivisions, and it will reapply them as a Z project. So what I'll do, I'll go F, but I'm gonna press Shift, so it's another algorithm. No, that's not good. I'm gonna do same. Sorry. Okay. Okay, we'll go for that. So yeah, and let's just say like you want to bring back the levels. That's one of the things. Like it might destroy your mesh. Sometimes it's bring back most of the shape, but in this case we ruined so much of it. So what I'll do is you can do a mask I think and it works, or you can do a morph target. I think that works. So switch, and then you can do delete higher. So basically, I just went back to the exact same spot where I was before I did the freeze. So it's just like the zero measure without all the frozen subdivision, because the problem is you don't want to keep those, because if you want to subdivide after that to have like nice creases on the edge, um, you'll be stuck with like zero subdivision because you're in freeze mode. One of the other trick that you can do if you really struggle with that, you can re-export, like export the mesh with the freeze from ZBrush, and then re-import. Then all that will be removed. But as of right now, I don't think it's possible to delete the frozen. So I lost my my tooth, but it's all right for now. Come on. I think I'll have like to move this isolate thing like another place, because at work it's like it's fine, it's like on top, but with the streaming I feel like it's shrinking my thing. But uh, yeah, we'll just head back to the 25. Okay, see, now it's clean. So now what you can do from there, you can go with creases by polygroup, and for art surface usually it's between 2 or 3 and 3 that I, so I put like 2 and then I subdivide. Let's see. And now it's starting like to keep my sharp edges. If it's too smooth, then you add one more. And I don't know what happened. Like I don't know what happened in this area. Okay, so you go back to like zero subdivisions. But by the way, that's my subdivision. Like if you guys didn't notice. Um, and then I'll go with 3. Yeah, I don't know what's happening in there. It's not too bad. I can always like polish it with H polish. So, and yeah, and this. I like to go on both sides because it's like pushing a little bit of that line. Okay, then yeah, you check with the light to get like something nice. So, and once you're good with that, one of the things that I'll do, it's because I'm building on top of the sketch, I'll like intentionally push back in the. I did like a duplicate of this, like I didn't show you because I did it like way ahead of the stream when I was like sculpting it offline. But I keep the original just in shape, just in keep like just in case I need like to see it as a whole or remember how it looked like before I destroyed it. But yeah, I'll push this back in, and then I'll try to like to make it really so there's only that. So and I kind of like having the tooth because that's one of the thing that it's, even if this one is like even, I think that's one of the thing that keeps coming back on this character, like some kind of design. I've been talking so much that I completely forgot to put some music on. Give me a second, I'll do that, and I'll go read the chat at the same time. See you guys to know from where you're watching this. So see, like right now, it kind of work out. So, and you can do that like with all kind of crazy pieces. And yeah, since I'm gonna be like 3D printing this, I'm always like trying to have like never have like a floating mesh like this, you know, like it's right now it's floating, but I'm gonna replace it way before. Like I wanted always like the mesh to be clipping through each other because they're gonna be in boolean, uh, union. So I want it like to be all one mesh, and I don't want to have like any cracks for like resin or whatever well, I can have like a little bit of cracks, but I don't want to have like real hole that this piece will just detach itself automatically, almost like when I print it. So I don't know if this makes sense, but yeah. Be cautious when you're like in really low subdivisions. Don't use the smooth. This will destroy your hard surface stuff quite fast. Yeah, the trick is with this is like to touch it as least as possible. Like I always feel like the more you manipulate your RS subdivision hard surface, the more smudgy and not looking so good it starts to begin to look like. Um, so now I'll just do a duplicate, and once again, like there's many ways to do that. Right now I did a duplicate, but I think I'm gonna go the way I go usually, which is the maybe they fix that, but the mirror and well only works from one side. So usually what I'll do is like, and it works without any subdivision. So I'll go to 7, and when you just play with subdivisions and you do like a lower, uh, you can always reconstruct it. Well, 99% of the time. I don't want to guarantee it, but yeah, it's I'll be able like to bring them all back as long as I'm not like sculpting onto it or anything like that. So what you can do is see like right now I hear like the fan in my CPU like running out. So this is demanding. So yeah, I'll delete those. So now since I got no subdivisions, I can do like easily like mirrors. In our case, I'll just do mirror and weld because I'm already on the good side. This is my other piece. Since I'm already in pose, that's why it went away so much. So I'm just gonna doink, bring this back. I just mask like this bit. So now like they're both on the same subtool, those two pieces. Sometimes I like to keep the same parts on the same subtools, and I just feel like it's cleaner, easier like for me to work with. Of course, if you work in symmetry, it can help. In this case, since it's in pose, I don't really use symmetry. I'll just like edit one part and then redo the same thing we just did. Um, so instead of like redoing the same process on the other side, I know that it's gonna be the same thing. So one of the thing as well that I notice, and that might be gone now with like newer version of ZBrush, but I always felt like I had like issues with, let's just say like right now it's like kind of slow manipulating the translate tool and all, and of course I could do the reconstruct, go to subdivision level 1 and then place my mesh, but oftentimes when I would do that and then I would go back up to like level 7 in this case, all my highest subdivision level would be completely messed up. So that's one of the things that now I don't do. Like I'll place my things. Usually it's not like that slow. It's really because like I'm streaming this thing at the same time. But yeah, usually I'll place my stuff like in high res mode, like I am right now, like with all the subdivision, like basically the highest one, and then I'll do my reconstruct. So it's getting there. I'm looking on the other side, like, just to be sure it looks kind of even. So I think that's good enough. So now I can unmask and then we can try to reconstruct. Yeah. So in our case, in this case, like it would have been like it would have not been so bad if our iRes would have been like completely destroyed because we moved it. Because the only thing I did was just apply creases and subdivide it. So even if we went like to level one, delete, and then it would have been fine. Well, I said that, but no, I did like a little bit of H polish on this edge, but it would have been like that bad to redo it. But yeah, it's just like something to keep in mind. So and once again, it might not happen every times, but it only takes like one time to really annoys you that after that you just don't trust it anymore. So okay, so this is done for this. So I'm just gonna take a quick look in the chat while I put some music on, even if the streaming is only there's still 30 minutes left, so it's not that bad. Give me a second. Okay. So what did I miss in the chat? Um. Okay. So Akash Salvador, I hope this answered your question about the dents and how to clean up the iRes. Uh. Oh yeah. I'm sorry about that, Mandon Galon da. Wow. Yeah, it's just because I got like this cold with my throat that I can barely like. I feel actually like I feel when I speak, it's like if I'm shouting like all the time. Like I need like to push so much air like just to talk regularly. So yeah, I definitely apologize for that. I think that's the issue really came from me and not the software. So hopefully, I'm supposed to stream next week. So hopefully next week it will be better. But yeah, I do apologize for that. Yes, Akash Salvador. Yeah, you could reach Oppo. That's a good option for sure. It's that's one of the things. It's because for me, what I like is like I sculpt the mesh into my sketch, so I can really give it like the shape that I want easily with my brushes. And to be honest with you, like moving points in zebra and Max or Maya, like it's I feel like it will be a lot harder to get like the crazy shape I want to go with. It's or I have the feel that I want with, and what I like is like when I do that, it's all in context with the rest of the boot. It's not like a separate piece, so I can constantly like reassess if it makes sense or if it still get the same design feel. Which in if I just only bring like one mesh, of course you could decimate the mesh and do the same thing, but it's it really depends because yeah, sometimes I will retopo like I've said, but sometimes I prefer to clean it up. Actually, like I prefer to clean it up when I can, and when I see it's too much trouble or I can see that it's still like really messy, then I'll consider max. But yeah, it's uh, because efficiency wise, For me, it's a lot more efficient if I stay in ZBrush. I'm losing a lot less time in there than if I start like going to max. But yeah, some cases, if you want to have like something really, really smooth or a really strong R surface, you got no choice but to go back. So, and I think that's something that over time you you develop like an eye for it. And even me, like right now, I'm still like developing an eye. Like I'm just like trying to put like crazy shapes just for the sake of it and have fun with them. But yeah, I definitely make it most of the time like really harder for myself than what it should be. But it's one of the things that I like to do. You know, like it's I think it's fun like do all that kind of like a crazy shape exploration, and that's one of the things that cyberpunk or sci-fi stuff allow us to do. Like have like a lot more experimental kind of shapes. I'm seeing that, but I'm sure all the team could do that, but I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I like it. And to be honest with you, it's so far away from what I'm doing at work that it maybe that's why yeah, I enjoy it so much because it feels so fresh for me. Oh, Spain? Yeah, I forgot like to check from where you guys were. The Caribbean? Oh, awesome. France? That's so cool. Admiral Superno. How did I get into what? Into sculpting? Digital sculpting, or I assume so. I mean, it's been sorry, it's been a long journey, but basically, where can I start? It's when I was like going to college, I like really, really, and you know, I'm kind of like ashamed of that a little bit, but I'm gonna share it with you guys because I like you guys. Like I had like really poor grades like in high school. Like I was like kind of a bum, you know, like I felt like school was like something so stupid because I was like, you know, someone that could be like an engineer couldn't pass like you know, the French test. And it's, you know, because I'm in Quebec, like which we all speak French, and and I was like, oh man, I feel the whole system is like it's bullshit, you know, like it's I was really against the system, and I didn't find like any interest in what I was studying because I couldn't understand like how this could be useful for me in the future. Even if you want to go to college, you needed to have like the right grades. So yeah, so basically I never really pushed myself to be successful at school. So with my grades and all. So what happened was like when I got out of high school and I wanted to go to college here in Quebec, like you need like to basically do the craft that you want. You need like kind of high grades because there's like a lot of people applying for those classes, and basically the highest score get like the first spots, and then and so on. So of course, like with my shitty grades, I could, you know, barely get like into any of school that I wanted like to go study, like the real, well, not the real craft, but the craft that I was like really interested into. So, and at that time, like they were like starting a new program called 3D animation. And to be honest with you, the first time I saw like real 3D animation when I was younger was they had like a TV show called Reboot. It was like made in Vancouver, and yeah, it was just like a CG TV show. Well, you know I'm saying I said that, but back then I saw like Captain Power and stuff like that, which they had like the robots. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but they had like all of those kind of crazy robots done in 3D with live action. But yeah, that was like another time which I remember like vividly. Um, 3D. And yeah, back then it was like something that was like really cool, but I couldn't barely understand what it was, and even back then like the industry wasn't really there. Like it's Ubisoft just got like a open like their office. I think they just shipped the first Splinter Cell back in Montreal back then. Like basically there was like not much companies in Quebec, so yeah, so basically with my shitty grades, I couldn't get it in anywhere. And since this program was like so new and nobody really understood what 3D animation was or what kind of job you could get out of those, there was like not much people applying. So I went like head in, not really knowing what I was getting into, and right off the bat, I completely like fell like in love with that, like passionately, like crazy. I was just like completely hooked. It was something that and I never. Well, I always like special effects, like movies like Jurassic Park or even Star Wars. Like when I was a teen, I was like such a hardcore Star Wars fan. But I wanted like to work on movie sets. Like I never, to my mind, like 3D had like nothing to do. Well, I didn't know this existed, but I never saw like a link between all of that stuff. But when I started like studying into it, then I understand like quickly what it was about, and oh boy, that was so cool. Even if when I got out of school, I didn't have like any job because the industry was so young and not many jobs in that field. Uh, I was hooked. I needed like to continue. I wanted to work in that field, and yeah, basically I barely worked in it, but then I went back to school in 3D animation again in Montreal because I saw like many of the really cool job or student they all went through this school. So I went back in, and I got like a little job when I went out of that school, but it didn't hold up. Like for some reason, like the I was like in the VFX movie industry, but back then it was like during the writer strike, and yeah, jobs were like so rare. So I like to go back work into like some kind of FedEx warehouse near the airport. Like it had nothing to do with 3D at all. But you know, I like I said, I was hooked. Like I wanted to get back at it. And there's no way. When I was in my teen, I worked a lot in factories and stuff like that, and it was like always something that I was just like, no way, I'm not gonna die here. I always felt like it was it's it's sad to say, and I think I respect a lot of the factory workers, but to me, I felt like it wasn't like mentally stimulating enough. Like I felt like it was just like, man, I get the feeling I can do so much more than that, and I feel like I put like crates on top of crates for like forever, like during 8 hours a day, like just doing the same motion over and over again. I said I can do like much more than that. So yeah, in the end, I wanted to get out, which I did, and that's why I keep fighting to get the job. And then out of a sudden, and this was like way way before ZBrush. It was like in just to tell you, like basically, when I learned 3D, it was on Maya 4.0, and I think it was in 2001 or something. So, so yeah, and I think Photoshop was like 6.0 or something. And yeah, back then we're like learning the tutorial in books, and because online you couldn't find like anything. There was no video and all that stuff. Like it was way too. The bit rate wasn't high enough to get those. Sorry, but yeah, I feel like a dinosaur saying that to you guys. But yeah, so to continue my story, what happened was I was working with that factory, and that's one of the things. Sometimes the destiny, I guess, like the way things are falling out is I still really wanted to work in that field, so I was like going into those kind of conventions. Like they started to have like more and more of those like 3D convention or video game convention in Montreal. So I would go like to those kind of. They always had like sections where they were like free, and then other like you need to pay, almost like SiteGraph. And that's one of the thing that I started to go, and usually they had like a lot of recruiters, so I would just like talk with everyone, and then of course you would go like see EA and all the big players. Sorry guys, I'm just like I was like trying to go see the big players, and yeah, like I wasn't like an interesting profile back then, but still since I was there, I was just like I'm just gonna try to talk to anyone I can, like all the booths or whatever, because in some ways they got something to do with games or movies. So, and then I ended up like with those. It was like kind of sketchy. It was like those guys. They had like a table with like a scan doing like facial scan, and I started like to talk with like the boss, or it seemed like, or you know the older gentleman that was there. So, and he started like to say. Yeah, we're doing 3D scan, and then show me a system and all. Like, because that's the thing. Like, everybody was like so down with like game companies and all. Like, they couldn't care less about the scanning to stuff. So basically, they almost looked like they were really bored. So I started like to ask them, that they were like quite happy to show me and how everything was working out, even if they knew that there was like no chance I would be like a buyer of those services and stuff like that. But yeah, like at the end of that old chat, I just like asked them like, you guys are looking for someone like in Montreal, or because they told me that they were like from California, and I was just like, you guys are looking, and then he just said, yes, we're actually looking for someone like to hire in Montreal, like to we're open up like a new office, and it was just like, boy, you know, I'm there. I would be interested if you guys wanna, if you wanna, if you want me basically. And then it was like, yeah, yeah, definitely interesting. So give me your email, send me your stuff, blah blah blah, and we'll see what we can do. So and then I send out like my email, my all my portfolio and all that stuff. And then you know I was doing the night shift of the warehouse, the FedEx warehouse near the airport. So, and my cell phone was so shitty. It was like, when I was like, because of the time difference. Sorry, guys, it's like a super long story, like, and it keep dragging on. So I hope it's not too boring. But, um, my shitty cell phone was like, and it was like during winter. So just like doing like the 1 hour bus and metro ride, it would die out like from my house to work. And what I would do would be basically to close my cell phone as soon as I left the house, just in case California would call back to offer me a job, or tell me, oh, okay, it's gonna be working out, because they were telling me, oh yeah, we're still trying to figure where we're gonna rent an office and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I couldn't wait like to get out of the FedEx kind of car, kind of warehouse, because that was not once again something I wanted to do. So every evening when I finished my shift at like midnight, I would open my cell phone. I almost prayed I would get like a message on my cell phone saying that's it's Nick from California, like telling me that it's working out. But at the same time, I was like so scared that he would just tell me like, no, sorry, Sebastian, it won't work out. Like we change our plans, and because that's, let's face it, in this industry, it happens all the time. So yeah, so one day he just told me like, okay, yeah, Seb, it's working. So pack your things, quit your job, and come to LA for like 3 weeks. We'll train you and all, and basically you'll sculpt faces, scan faces for video games and movie companies. And sorry about that. and that's what I did. And yeah, after that, like they started to send me on movie sets and game studios. Like I met like Rockstar Games when they were working on GTA 4, and I worked on yeah, all kind of movies that would in all kind of states in the U.S. and even Vancouver, and I started like to meet a lot of people from the industry. And yeah, at some point, like I started to work with Ubisoft Montreal cinematic team, and yeah, somehow I met like the studio head of the cinematic department, and yeah, like at some point, like the scanning company was not going like so well, so I I asked her if she had like any opportunities for me, and she said yes. So long story short, that's how I got into Ubisoft, and from there it's yeah, so many sub stories. I mean, for tonight, that could be like a that could take forever. But many times during my career, I I felt into that trap of complacency. Like basically, I was just like, okay, I made it. I worked at Ubisoft. I knew to do games, so now it's chill. I'm just gonna do my work, and that's it. It's but then once a project would finish, other projects would ramp down and would ramp up, and it was just like a like a schoolyard baseball team. Like it's like as soon as you finish a project, then other projects would come to see the artists, and then they would pick like the best players for their team. And if you were not one of the best players, then you would be picked last. And some of those guys would end up like in what they call enter project, which is just like that kind of like a place where you just sit at your desk in almost like a computer graveyard, and you're just waiting for a project to go pick you up. But yeah, and sometimes like people would spend like 6 to 8 months in that kind of situation, which they started like to be paranoid like quite a bit. So you never wanted to end up in that situation. And I remember like a few times like on cancel project, like they would even like give me a test internally to get into that project because they had like doubts, but they would give like tests to all the character artists to get into that project, and I would like push myself really hard. But even so, like I would actually fail in the end, like not get the so it especially like one time I remember like it kind of rang a bell in my mind. Like I was like, okay, it's now I get it. Like I'm not just competing around, with like I'm competing internally with like other artists, and if I want to make it into that job and be happy and successful at it, well, success is relative, but I mean, like, if I want to do basically what I like on the projects that I like, I I don't want to be like one of the last ones. So, and I think it's like one of those things that the more you do it, the more you start loving it, because in the end, like my dream was really like to make all the characters I had in my mind, but like with the highest quality, or like I wanted like to make cool stuff like all the time. So, and there was like so many characters I wanted to make, like even from other games and stuff like that. And yeah, to get to that kind of like a comfort zone to do like something really tricky, and you're enjoying yourself, and you're just like not always self-doubting. Well, I still like self-doubt like from time to time, but I mean like it was a long journey. And yeah, basically I believe like I was like truly passionate. So I mean that's how it kind of like pretty much led up to where I am today. So even that whole streaming thing, I just feel like it's I I like streaming mainly because I'm not like only isolated doing my thing. I can share with you guys, and to be honest with you, it's not, how can I say that, like whatever trail that I took, like I don't think there's nothing crazy or magical or anything like that. I think if I can show you guys as much as I know, and you guys can pick it up and even push it further, I think that's amazing. So, but yeah, I just feel like it was like some time like for me like just to like not hold up too much and just share. So of course, man, it's one of the things with streaming. It's you're always afraid that people will judge you, or you'll not good in you will not look good enough. But to be honest with you, I don't really care. I'm doing it because I like it, and I mean that's awesome. If you guys enjoy it as well, like I'm, to be honest with you, even that to this day, I'm still like super amazed that you know there's like right now I see like 56 eyeball looking at the stream. So I'm quite grateful that you guys enjoy that stuff because I do. So sorry if I keep dragging this on. I'm talking and that's one of my stuff I need like to improve. Like so much chatting and it's eating. I mean like it's hurting my efficiency. So how you guys are feeling in the chat? So George Andreas said, "Is it recommendable to use decimation or topology with zero measure to print?" Yeah, but to be honest with you, I'm even with eye level detail for like bigger meshes, I'm still using decimation. It's of course like the more insert keys you put in, the more you can get away with. But sorry. Yeah, no, I still I always decimate my mesh just because most of the software that I prep my meshes into are I'm just like killing them right away with like a 80 million mesh or something. So I think it's always best practice. The only thing I like try to watch out is like how much aggressive the decimation is, and one of the thing that I try to watch out to is when I do surface noise, I try like to watch out for those parts because decimation kills pretty much any surface noise. So I try not to apply surface noise before decimation. Sometimes I'll try to apply it afterwards if it looks kind of alright. But if I got like a letter or stuff like that, I will do like a maybe not. You know, like maybe I will not do like decimation on those parts. So, but yeah, most of the time I for the stuff that don't have like surface detail or surface noise or alphas or I will definitely decimate. I hope I didn't put you like to sleep with my story. By the way, I I see like the chat I went as you know did went like really slow as soon as I started like to explain my story. But see that's one of the things that perhaps I should check into the Discord or Discord um, chat thing because one of the things that I'd like to know as well is like it's your stories, you know, like I shared mine, but I'm because I mean it's crazy how many, and especially like those who actually end up like doing characters, they most of the time they like to fight for it or actually fight to keep it, you know, like to keep that their job, like to be relevant and stuff like that. I know it's like something. That's why it's no surprise that many character artists. It's really it's all labor of love. Like they're really passionate in what they're making. So And I think it's always interesting to see or to hear everyone's story. So see, so one of the thing I was like mentioning earlier was just like right now I'll go with the thickness, and it's really thick, but I know that sole is not yet even and all that, so I might be playing with it. But since I don't know like how thick it is, I'll go with this one for now. So because like I've mentioned before, I could always like isolate this poly group, delete it, and then redo my panel loop because it's the trick is like to go really quick with all of that polygroup assignment and all. That's one of the things. It's weird. I was sure I actually put like those settings somewhere in there. But that's another thing. If you're wondering which parts you should be putting in those menus, just keep a note like what options do you go back to all the time. So because in this case, see like I'm going like to this all the time. Even the isolate, I'm using it all the time. So I don't mind that much about this section because it's gonna be inside, but it's more those over here, which I know that we're almost done. But let me know how you felt and if you liked it or not. I would love like to have more feedback. By the way, if you want to write me like I posted my website like earlier, which is feel free to put me on the in the contacts and all. Like if you want to write me like about if you had like feedbacks out stuff to improve or stuff that you'd like to see, feel free to let me know. I'm super open. So I think it's if I can make this stream better for you guys, I think it will be awesome. So see right now I've forced it a little bit more. So okay. I'm looking for my polygroups. I, I want to go too quick and I don't see it. Yeah, I'm starting to be really. Come on, Seb. Boy. We'll go for a 3. Oh, so once again, if it's not looking if it's not looking like you want it, you can always like go back in and see like right now it's another thing that I wanted to say like I don't think I'm gonna increase like the streaming per week on the ZBrush Pixelogic channel, but I think I'll do increase my the streaming on my own channel. Actually, one of the things that I might try out is stream on the Pixelogic channel every 2 weeks, but stream at least like once a week on my own channel. So just to be sure, like it's a because I always kind of feel bad that it's been such a long time since I went back to his channel, and and I see like people are still subscribing to it, and it's more than a year that I didn't bring out like any content to that channel. So I feel I feel it should definitely deserve a little bit more love from my part. I'm just like, trying to rush this quickly before we end the stream. That's another thing. It's been a while since I did that, but one of the things that really helps me out, and it doesn't really show here because I'm talking so much, but doing speed sculpting, like you give yourself like let's just say an hour, and you try like to bash in as much as you can, like a concept or something. I think it's undervalued, and I think it's something that could be really helpful for everyone to do. So because it brings your idea like quicker, and you and instead of how can I say this, like how much time it takes to figure out where you want to go with your concept or your sculpting, you I guess you find like answers quicker just because you're used to go fast, and and at first I wouldn't mind about the quality of the result. I could even like show you like quickly. I'm just gonna yeah. I think for now that's gonna be good enough. And that's one of the things that helps as well. If you're super used to speed sculpting, you can easily try out stuff, and even like lower that anxiety that you got when you let's just say you do something that you like and you feel it's pretty. You can like you don't have as much value, or you're like a lot more open to destroy it to create something else that looks even nicer. Not always, but okay, I think I'm gonna go for this for now. So just before I finish, I'm just gonna show you something. one of the one of the speed sculpt that I did. I'm just like trying to find it. Hmm. Give me a second. Uh, I didn't plan this, so that's why I'm a little bit like looking into my. Hmm. Yeah, sadly, I thought I had, but because yeah, now that I like destroy one of my hard drives, like I'm kind of like backing up like everything, and all my folders are still like messed up. So yeah, probably like next time it's, but usually it's like dynamic kind of stuff. It's really kind of messy. So um, just before I finish, any questions or you guys are good? So yeah, I can show you one of the final prints that I made just before we wrap this up. Wait a second. I did like a merman, back then, and I don't know if you guys can see that. That's whoop, it's not like a. There's still like mistakes in it, which wait, I'm gonna just see if I can just make this slightly bigger. So yeah, it's super pixelated, and for some reason like the focus doesn't seem to work really well. But wait, I'm gonna try. Uh, bear with me. Yeah, I think I got. I think I'm at the best level of focus, but yeah, you can uh, you can see it's all split. Like you can see a little bit of the glue, but yeah, basically I like to all split it like into different parts, and to be sure it would print because it was all on the small printer. So that's one of the guys that I did, and I even like did on my other printer. Like it's the same guy, but I was like trying to go for like a bigger scale. So that's one of the mask basically, and that's when with the insert key in the back. So yeah, right now it's I'm still like you know bashing out like new sculptures to push my printing even further. So that's why I didn't print like anything like recently in the past month, but I'll get back to it. So sorry. So um, what do I do before well, that's one of the thing. Like, I don't export Excel format from ZBrush. I do it like I export OBJs, and then I start something called Meshmixer. I'm gonna show it quickly just before I end up the stream, but I know it's not part of the Pixologic ZBrush thing, but if it can help you out, like first off, like what? Okay, I think this won't work out, but basically, yeah, Meshmixer, it's a free software. I'm just gonna at least show you like the web page so we can have something to talk about. Oh, okay, now it worked. So yeah, so basically, um, they got like default. We'll go for dog. So let's just say that's your mesh. One of the things that I did, like right now, it's a maker replicator. Oops. Um, one of the thing that I did, well, yeah, this version, I did not do it in this version, but I put like my own printer. When you do add my old printer preference, like basically the size and all, so I could have like the sorry, my throat is killing me. So yeah, so see like how small it is. So and to be honest with you, if you don't have the right size, if you alter your stuff, it's gonna be a nightmare. So one of the first thing I do, because I know that in that software the matrix are quite good. See, like right now it's at 2 millimeters by 1 by 1. So we'll not play with the scale over here, but the scale over there. So I'll put like 50 and 50 and 50. So now we're starting like to talk. So and then of course you can always like for now this doesn't really matter for me because I won't create like any supports, and yeah, it creates like a display problem because I didn't press accept. So now see like now it works like a lot better. So I'll do that. After that I'll probably do like a analysis inspector. This will figure out if you got any error in your mesh, which seems to be all right. It makes sense since it's a default mesh. And another thing that I'll be doing is actually that old um, hollow. See, like right now we see like the uh, inner hollowing, inner mesh for the inside, and then I will. This is annoying. Yeah, but I'll put. Of course, you can put like the thickness depending. Like if it's a really small object, I would probably like, increase this so it's like the thickness of the walls, and you got like the accuracy. That's how much you'll get. Like let's just say you don't want like the tail to be fully full of resin, and it really applies for liquid resin, by the way. But if you want like to be fully, you could always like augment the accuracy. So basically, you'll have like a lot more of the shape. But usually, you want to keep that settings more low because all the stuff that might break more easily should be more filled in full, and then all the stuff that will be more resistant is gonna be. And that's one of the thing I did with the merman that I shown you, like this guy over here. It's all hollowed, and I tried like to put my hollowed holes because since it's liquid resin, it needs to pour out where my insert keys were, so that's why you don't see them. But see like you can do like have like 3 hollows. Do update. Sorry. For some reason, it doesn't want to show me where they are. That's something that I saw that sometimes Meshmixer got an issue with that, and it really depends on the size of the mesh for somehow. I'm gonna try like one last thing before I leave you. It's that ground is like kind of annoying, so oh, see, generate holes. I don't know why he gave me so many of them, but you can basically place your hole like that, and it's probably because I already did accept, so he already created like a hollow, so I just created a second one. But see, like it's you can place it, and you can only place it where you got like a that kind of like a low res inside mesh. Like I couldn't place it over here because it to be hollow it needs to be a cave in it, and then it needs like you specify where the hole is going to be drained. So you can place your hole like that, and then you could even like make it wider tapers, because in the end the hole that you'll see it's only this bit at the end, but it could go a lot bigger inside. And of course the radius of this thing, so it could be like a bottle. So see, like you barely see the hole, but inside it does get some kind of bottle. So that's what I would do, like for this part, and then I would after that I would export and use something called Chitubox, which is this Chitubox. It's actually free, and that's with this software that I would actually do my supports. So because one of the great thing with this is like it can create internal supports. So like you saw that our hollow mesh, you can create like some kind of scaffolding inside, which will make it like a lot more resistant since it's actually hollowed. So and that, but like many other things which are like really cool. So if you get the chance, take a look at this one. So I hope this will answer all your questions. I just want to take a last look at the chat, and I hope I wasn't dragging this off like too much. But this supports like PVA or IPS. I'm not familiar with the terms, but basically it's like it's three shapes. It's basically just like the shape of it. It's actually like imagine a cylinder and then a cone and then a sphere at the tip. So I feel like the one with the sphere are like a lot more easier to with like flush cutters, like to cut off without leaving too much of a mark on the mesh on the print. So that's basically what I'm using. And I know that tree like I kind of like that too, which create like some kind of Y shape. But yeah, I think that's good too. So uh, just to answer like one last question for Akash, it's all my multi-sub tool are not combined in the same in the software. So so basically that's why like I will kind of combine my booleans to combine them and then define like if I okay, I don't have the rest of the, but let's just say it would be the shoe, then I will combine all the bits on that shoe together and then do my insert key, and then I would this would be like one of my printed mesh. I don't know if that makes sense. So right now, like in that folder, I got like 20 subtools. So I don't export every bit one by one. I will just like combine them all high res, then probably do like a decimation on top of it. Once I do like a boolean union most of the time. The Dynamesh is like way too aggressive. It removes too much of the detail. So so I'll combine everything with a boolean union, then do like a decimation on top of it. If I feel some of the parts, the decimation is too aggressive with it, then I will extract that part from the merge, the union boolean. Well, basically go back before, remove that part, do union boolean with all the rest except that part, do a separate decimation for this one, and then combine everything back together. So it's kind of annoying, but I think that's how you get like the biggest payoff for the level of detail. So I hope this will make sense. So Zelio 63. I'm not sure what you mean by double extruder. You mean like for the supports again? Like if I double extrude them? Yeah, I got no clue what you meant. But I do like when I create them, like I just like in the screenshot, I try like to create like some kind of scaffolding like that. I have like a lines that zigzag through each other. So I don't know if that what you mean, what you're saying, but you can check my friend. Wait, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna find the video and I'm gonna. Basically, he's the one that helped me out like so much with all of that stuff, and I'm pretty much following like what he did. I didn't change much of that the workflow. Sheet 2 box, and it's my friend from VFX Forge. So I'm gonna show you. That's his YouTube video. But if you go into over here, see like Chitubox quick start guide, layout, all that stuff. Yeah, you should definitely take a look at that. I'll paste the link for his channel, and yeah, if you get the chance, take a look at that. That's pretty much the workflow that I'm going for. And right now, I got like a Anycubic Photon and Moai. Well, PO Poly, and that's one of my printers. This one, and so I got like two profiles for them. But yeah, that's one of my printers, and the other one is this one. This one, which the level of detail is amazing, but it's kind of like hard to. You need to be really hands-on. I mean, like it's this one. Whoop, this one, yeah. Needs to be more hands-on, like the hardware and all. Like a lot of issues, but when it works, it's really badass. But the customer support is quite good though. It's everything that I requested, like new parts and all that. They just send me everything out. So, and it's like super cheap the printer. So, I think that's a good entry level kind of printer for the level of detail that you're making. That's it's great to learn. So, um, yeah, I'll really need to go, Akash, but no, I don't zero mesh, and yeah, when I say boolean, it's boolean union mesh. Okay, no, you mean like zero mesh my? No, no, I don't zero mesh my boolean. No, it's I'll just decimate it if I need to. So on that, I'll well, have a good night and or good morning, whatever part of the world you are. But I'll talk to you soon, and yeah, feel free like to just like send me an email or something like if you got like any other questions that you'd like me to answer. So it was awesome to see you tonight, and I hope I'll see you. I'm gonna be there like next week, Tuesday. So see you there, and have a good week, everyone. Bye bye.